What if your story could ignite a movement? At New Solutions Network, we merge truth, resilience, and reinvention, fueling shows that cut past the noise and light up what really matters: human potential. Police, athletes, survivors, incarcerated folks, visionaries, we bring raw, real voices the world needs to hear. Want to share your story? Want to sponsor change? Now is the time. New Solutions Network, unlocking the future, one voice at a time. Hi there, and welcome to another episode of the Natanya Experience. I'm joined today by the fabulous pharma founder, Mr. himself. Mr. Jit is going to tell us all about Onto Pharmaceuticals and what they're doing, excuse me. I say we're doing, I just invited myself to the party. What they're doing to help accelerate the time it takes to get those special molecules that scientists are developing all over the world, but it takes a long time to get them into our hands to help treat us from all of the things that we're suffering from as a society, as a humanity. And so, welcome to the studio today.
All right. Thank you, Natanya. Thank you for having us today. I mean, I'm so excited to be a part of your show. I'm so excited to talk to your audience about all the great tech that we're building here at OntoPharma to help accelerate drug approvals. I'm super excited to be a part of this show.
Well, you came to us. We have a mutual. I believe, he's your co-founder, Matt Hofstresser. Our
Hmm.
friend put us together to talk about what you're doing with AI to essentially help the bureaucratic sludge highway that is the road for any country, not just the United States. It's a global company, right? To
That is
get
good.
from the early stages of their scientific discovery all the way through to approval. Do you want to talk to me a little bit about how you guys came to this idea to invest your energies and technologies in this way?
So, myself and Matt, have lost a couple of people to cancer. And so we always wanted to, do something about it. And I am a tech guy and I've built software in the Silicon Valley for quite some time. But, I always wanted to do something meaningful in life. And, when I lost a couple of people, I thought, I should definitely try to solve some problems in this domain. And when AI came mainstream, I thought, why not help scientists who are out there who got the best molecules and drugs, but just that they are stuck with this bureaucracy of getting the approvals from multiple countries. There are patients worldwide who are suffering from diseases. And
Yeah.
here we've got scientists who've got the solution, but just that they're not able to get the approvals because of the bureaucracy. We're talking about millions and millions of pages of documentation that they got to submit, and several years of back and forth between the regulatory bodies before they could actually get their drugs out to the market to save these lives. Let's talk about diseases like cancer, some latest diseases like fibromyalgia. People have been suffering for ages, and there's great scientists out there. And I thought we should definitely help these people because I know for sure that AI can accelerate this process. And when I met my co-founder Matt, he had the same vision too, and he had lost a couple of people to cancer, and he wanted to do something for the society, and that's when we started this.
No, it's
And
amazing.
yeah.
So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Just to say that you were saying earlier that we're looking at 10, 20 years between initial experimentation, molecule development, and some kind of clinical pathway to actually getting a drug into someone's body. And the rates of how many drugs even can make it through all those hurdles, not just the paperwork, but the paperwork being a part of it. Obviously, there's other kinds of rigor. You're not saying throw out the trials. You're just saying, how can we get the business of the business moving more quickly so that the information that's already there can be synthesized across the world, across different servers, to be put together to accelerate how long or how short it takes to get something that has all the validity of all the clinical stuff that it needs to have, but those other pieces are just a matter of labor basically, and these agents can essentially accelerate that timeline. Is that what your company is focused on doing?
Absolutely. We want to help all these scientists that we just spoke about with all the assistance that they want in terms of AI building agents that will assist them in any way possible to get these drugs out of the market in any country or any region that is out there. We're talking about, uh, you know, all the regulatory bodies worldwide. For example, let's say talk about, Brazil. Their process is completely different. They want the approval documentation to be submitted in Brazilian. It's just going to take a lot of time to convert all these millions of pages to Brazilian into the right documentation format that's acceptable by the government of Brazil. Talking about Australia, this used to be very cumbersome. People had to literally put it on a CD and have to visit the office in person in order to submit even one stage of the documentation. So this would just take so much
A
of
lot of
effort and time.
manual skill in
Yeah,
these
there are a
things.
lot of, and we're talking about developed countries. There are multiple countries out there which has just got other information published online, but not many systems out there. I mean, FDA is like a software organization, and they've got everything online. That doesn't mean every country's got that. So we're trying to see how we can do this offline as well. So we want to integrate and partner with other agencies that are out there. Let me use this as an invite to such agencies to come join hands with us, so that we can accelerate this process and help patients get the care that they need faster.
No, that I mean that's the main goal. The most of the headlines dominate, at least in the US, right, about the broken healthcare system. There's the news about not that long ago that the CEO of one of the major insurers, was assassinated because of the feeling of the frustration. I'm not saying um, we're condoning anything like that. I'm just saying that there is a public outcry for the lack of care to us as humans. And even with the tools that we have. And then on top of which, there are all these other tools that might work differently or better that we can't get access to in this country and around the world. So, no, my hat's off to you and Matt for joining together to try to tackle some of these problems and using your background in technology to essentially become more efficient in whatever protocols we're talking about. And this is a place that they can really use your help, I'm sure. Do you have anything before, I know we're getting towards the end of the year, but anything as we look to this last quarter, anything that you're excited about, any conferences that you're going to be attending that anyone should look for you at, or anything that you're hosting? Are you doing any information seminars, anything like that that you want to share about?
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to be visiting a couple of conferences. One is in Amsterdam, so that's happening next month, and that's the primary conference that all the regulatory body experts from all over the world converge to discuss about how to use AI to accelerate this. And we're going to be there, and we're going to be talking to all these people. And there is another one happening in February in DC, and so we're going to be heading out there too. And FDA is probably not going to make it to the one in Amsterdam, but they'll definitely make it to the one in DC, because
Yeah.
they've been, asked not to talk a lot about this outside the United States. So we're definitely going to be there, and we're going to be talking to them, and we're going to be, this is a very, very hard problem, and not many companies are interested in, working
Yeah,
on
I've been
this.
checking it out.
And
There's not a lot of glory in the short term. So
mhm.
it's an admirable thing. It's quite a behemoth. And there's a lot of dead ends, right? It's like the railroad with all the pieces of railroad built, but then all these change tracks that go nowhere, right? You're inheriting systems. Um, and that's in the US, where it's moderately enhanced in terms of being all online, like you said, and sort of digitized in terms of the left hand and the right hand that have to pass. But in other countries, or we were talking about international organizations, such as like even a company that may or may not be headquartered in US or has distribution in US, has affiliate markets in all those other countries that all have different ministries of health and different regulations around what it means to get something allowed to be in someone's body, and then how that gets disseminated and distributes, that's another set of rules, right? And where it goes, especially if it's a compound that needs refrigeration. Or we talked about, what if it's not a molecule, what if it's an actual machine, a device, a medical device. So there's a lot of work to do here. So you guys basically are gluttons for punishment. No, I'm kidding, but you picked something really difficult. So it shows you must be really dedicated to trying to
Absolutely.
help. So I thank you for sharing with us today about that. Anything else you have in terms of your own either goals or anything you're excited about as you come into the turn of the year? Are you looking for certain kinds of partners that we might want to put a shout out to? Anything
So
like that?
we're so as the cause is definitely noble, we want to bring this out to the market ASAP. So we're right now fundraising, so looking out for investors who love to help us accelerate this process. And we obviously need to hire a lot of people, a lot of experts from multiple different regions to work on this in parallel, so that we can bring it out to the market quickly. So that's something that we're really excited about, talking to investors. And that's one of the things. And the other end of the spectrum is talking to the actual customers. And when we launched this in New York back in August, there was a person from the FDA sitting right next to us in the party who mentioned that she just wanted it to work today, because these AI agents that are out there, they're not really accurate. So that's why we want to build models, custom build models that are going to be accurate, not just accurate, but also life saving, because this is where we're going to be impacting the society. So, all throughout my life, I've built tools that have always impacted society. Earlier, I've done in education and healthcare, and now I'm getting into pharma life sciences. So, I want to make sure that
So it's
we
a
help
it's a
people.
lifelong legacy that you've been doing, sort of helping turn the cogs of the big wheels, right? From these small things, right? And then pushing them out so that society. And so education is another area which obviously goes in hand with health. And now in the pharmaceutical arena, because they are, feeding the supports to all of these other parts of our whole selves, right? How we think, how we move, how we eat, how we heal, how we learn, all of those things. So I thank you for staying um in this very, very, very hands-on, difficult industry, and continuing to shift the skills that you have from all of your years in the tech side into pharma now. And I can't wait to share about it and hear more about what's going on, especially after Amsterdam.
All right. Thank you so much. And I appreciate your time. And thank you very much for having us on the show.
Absolutely.
Thank you.